Welcome to a very special, short version of Nostalgicast, your weekly roundup of the best and most up-to-date nostalgic news, where we discuss the stories and give our thoughts.
Yeah.
I am your host, who follows my nose to the places it goes, to the flavors of fruit wherever it grows, Andrew Price. Crunchitize him, Captain. Tyler Palo. Silly Rabbit. Tricks are for Kelby Joseph.
Nah, that's not it.
He's great. Louis Elvius.
I like this.
And
My favorite cereal.
DJ Baby Fat, a.k.a. Julia.
Sick.
Yep, that's what it is.
Hey.
Heard.
Welcome to Nostalgicast.
What's going on, guys?
I said it last time.
Uh-huh.
Don't quote me on it, because I was lying.
Yeah.
I said we were going to skip this week.
Nah, never that.
Big fat liar.
Never that.
Oh.
The movie.
Yeah, just call me Frankie Muniz.
Shit, that's got to go on my
Yeah.
list.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah, is that 2010?
Oh my
That's-
god.
That's a great
pre-2010.
Very old.
Yeah.
Much older than that.
2005 maybe.
Yeah.
2004.
Um,
What's going on? I haven't seen you guys in a while.
Yeah.
Jules, you good?
Yeah, I'm so good. I'm about to get my holiday on, if you know what I mean.
Go ahead. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Lou.
Tinsel?
You good? You good? Chilling? All right. Tyler?
yes.
Little eggnog.
I see you got some really good chapstick on
I
today.
do. I really like my lips.
Yeah.
Trying to be nice to him. It's the holiday season. I was like, I'll treat you nice.
You look great
Yeah,
today.
that's what's up. Yeah,
I
you
look great today?
Yeah.
Thank
You still are in desperate need of a haircut.
Thank you.
But you look great.
I don't.
For,
I think
for a long-haired hooligan.
every time somebody tells me that, my hair grows a little more and it makes me happy.
Okay,
I guess,
let's talk
think you
about this
keep
for
it.
a second.
Yeah, I also am curious about this because
What?
you have this weird like
Interrupter.
this has been on my mind for a while. I'll let you ask the thing
Okay.
after, but every time I say that you need a haircut, you seem to have like almost this like really big reaction to it of like fuck that, and I'm
I
curious.
just don't want a haircut. I'm really enjoying the way my hair feels and not having to cut it and like growing it out and not worrying about it. It feels good.
I really want to braid it.
What were
I
you
like
gonna
it.
ask?
I'm totally okay with braiding it too. I'm definitely down for
I
that.
was going to bring up that you shared a story with us off mic about how you had long hair and your boss said, cut that, cut that, cut that. And you said, no, I will have my long hair. And now you're doing the exact same thing to Tyler.
Well,
Into my
but
mind,
Every
too.
person needs an authority figure for them to push back against to discover their boundaries.
I also like putting it in like the puffs, like the little 2 puffs up here. It's really nice. It looks good.
It does.
I really enjoy
Man
the way.
buns?
Yeah, man buns.
That
Like
causes
these-
baldness.
Well, that's a lie.
It's not a lie.
We'll
They're
look into
yours.
that after we're off
When
the
you,
air.
the constant pulling against your hair follicles causes them to fall out prematurely.
You know, use it while you got
You should never keep your hair in a tight ponytail. Like
Why do women's hair never fall out? Like it
Be fine.
that. It does.
Oh,
in the shower.
I don't. I just mean
Women go bald.
I've seen like 2.
Name
Oh
names.
snap! No, don't name.
That
Which
names.
two?
Bitch of a math teacher I had in 10th
gosh,
grade.
nah.
Jesus.
Nah,
Sorry,
nah.
she
This
had
is
a-
Matthias.
I
This
am
is
no.
Matthias.
Matthias.
I am
Math
no
teacher.
better
He's
at
still
math
fine.
because I stared at her fucking bald spot the entire time.
No, oh come on.
She taught class with her back to you.
The entire time.
She had a
She
bald
didn't
spot
know
on
the
her
rules.
That was the problem.
I did.
Gosh. Don't blame
I
that
can't
on
remember her
Mrs.
name though because I
Matt.
didn't pay.
He didn't
attention. That's my
hesitate.
fault.
You didn't even go to class. You probably saw it one time.
So
And what? How were you, Andre?
Oh yeah.
how am I?
Yeah.
I'm great.
All right.
You see, he popped the scholar. Right
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eve stat.
real.
My wife is as we speak buying a Santa costume.
Oh, sick.
Gonna visit Ephraim and Alistair tomorrow.
And you're Santa.
At what time? Like in the middle of the night?
No, I mean last year I came like in the evening. Like he opened his like presents, and then like later on that day, Santa came and gave him like his last 2 presents, which were a candy cane and a scooter.
Nice.
He didn't know it was you. He wasn't like,
No.
oh, okay.
Really? You change your voice? What's your Santa voice?
Oh yeah. What's the Santa voice?
Oh, I fucking killed it as Santa.
Do you?
Give me a taste. Let me see if I recognize you.
Close your-
I mean,
you
on the
gotta close your
spot,
eyes.
it's,
Yeah,
it's
now
hard.
come on,
Okay,
man.
close your
You're an
eyes.
artist.
Come on. You're an artist.
It's not the same without the artifice of the mask.
That's
All right.
The
all
mask
right.
is the transformative.
I'm gonna try and keep my ear to the streets. Like,
But
okay,
your
yeah.
son is very smart. One of these days, I'm sure he's gonna be like, Santa, stay there. My dad has to meet you.
Well, we told him I was going to work.
Oh, okay.
It's easy to believe.
I like that.
Hit me with just one line, like, Hello there, Eve.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, that's good
Merry Christmas.
That's pretty
Sick.
good.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad. I put him on
He's
the
gonna
Christmas
know it's
album.
you.
I fucking killed it. The reason why I had the costume and the reason why we're buying one now is because the neighbors asked me to come be Santa.
Oh.
And I don't think they were expecting what they got. I think they thought like, oh, our neighbor has like a really deep voice. You know, my husband can't be Santa because he's very distinctive. He has a very distinctive voice, and the kids will know. So they had me do it.
Yeah, he's got a
And
really high voice.
I blew the roof off. I had people laughing. I was doing banter.
Ooh.
I was talking to the adults. I was throwing out jokes for that they got, and I was throwing out jokes that the kids got. Like
Wow.
I fucking killed it.
Yeah, I like
Episode of
that. The
SpongeBob
Christmas
SquarePants
spirit,
over
you
here.
got it.
Yeah.
You know, no lie, for like 10 years, I really feel like I saw Santa one time. No lie. Like as a kid, for real. Like I opened
Like for your first 10 years or after your first 10 years?
So what happened was I opened up my eyes and it was like maybe 3 a.m. and I saw a figure there. And I'm not sure what it was, but I saw like a face, and then the face went shh to me.
Kelby.
And then I like fell back asleep, and I was like, that
Kelby.
has to be Santa Claus. But I don't like
That was
Don't explore
That was a
Don't explore
kidnapper.
that.
he
That
said,
was-
don't explain that. Nah, he's a good guy. He left me a gift.
Mm.
That was 1 year I got Christmas gifts.
my
It was cool.
PTSD of having a baby is out of the corner of my eye. I just keep seeing that baby, and I just keep thinking that I need to like take it or
It's
like
in good hands.
do something to it.
Are you saying that your
have
fatherly
more.
instincts are saying that she's not a good mother because
Yeah,
you need to take that
that's
away?
what I heard.
That's
No,
exactly what I heard.
No,
You should
the-
be offended.
No,
I am.
For the people who can't see, Julia's holding a fake baby.
Yeah,
If I'm
Fake
a-
to
audio.
you.
God.
Fake to you.
if I'm around, if I'm around, I have to take the baby and because
You hear that, guys? He's gonna take your baby if he's around.
no, because my wife
Taking
wants
babies.
me to take the baby and like when I'm around because she's with the baby, she's with the kids all day.
She wants you. She
So
wants
when
the
I-
baby to know that he has a dad.
Yeah, when I come home,
Take the baby.
when I come home, like partially because of her wanting me to, and partially because I haven't seen them all day. Like there's never a moment where she's just holding
Yeah.
the baby.
You turn it into a game. As soon as you get home, you guys play take the baby. You take the baby. She makes herself a stiff drink. It's a good night.
We don't carry alcohol in our house.
Go ahead.
So today, there's a couple of stories. This is gonna be a short episode, although maybe not after that.
That entire
What
thing.
everything that just transpired. But there's only a couple stories. We're doing this on Christmas Eve, which is not our normal recording time. We usually record on Thursdays. It's a Tuesday. Tuesday?
It is a
It is a
Tuesday, yes.
Tuesday.
And we're just doing
Going
this really
up.
quick, so you have something for this week. There's a couple stories, and then after that, we're gonna right now on the precipice of a new decade. Is our only opportunity to talk about decade-based nostalgia. So we're all gonna go through and list our top 10s
Yep.
Of the 10.
either of 2010 through 2019, our top 10 movies, albums, and artists. Some of us are doing some of them. Some of us are doing all of them. But we're gonna go through and we're gonna do our top 10 lists.
All right.
Before we get to that, a couple quick stories. There's a limited series remake of Carrie in the works at FX.
Ooh.
Stephen King's Carrie is getting its latest treatment for the screen. A limited series adaptation of the iconic horror novel is in development at FX. Deadline is confirmed. The project, first reported by Collider, is in its early stages, and a writer is not yet attached. There are no further details. The FX project comes 6 years after the second feature film adaptation of the book, starring Chloe Grace Moretz in the title role. The first film adaptation, directed by Brian De Palma, was from a screenplay by Lawrence D. Cohen. Starred Sissy Spacek as Carrie White and also featured Piper Laurie, Amy Irving, Nancy Allen, William Catt, PJ Souls, Betty Buckley, and John Travolta in supporting roles. So yeah, they're gonna do like a limited run miniseries of Carrie, and before you go knocking it, these limited run miniseries Stephen King adaptations have been some of the strongest TV in the last couple of years. 11/22/63 was fucking great.
Yeah.
You saw that. I haven't watched it. It's not limited run, but it's kind of like a anthology where every season is a different Stephen King story, but they have that show Castle Rock.
Castle Rock, yeah.
And the current season is doing Misery. It's like a prequel to Misery.
Oh shit.
With Lizzie Kaplan.
Oh, from Mean Girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which one
Who
was
was she in Mean Girls?
She
She's-
was sort of the friend of Lindsay Lohan's character who wasn't one of the popular girls.
Okay.
She had the dark hair.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
She's playing the young version of Kathy Bates' character, but I haven't seen it yet. But it's apparently really good. And also Stephen King is the king of miniseries, because you talking about miniseries. The original It was not a movie; it was a miniseries.
Miniseries.
Wow.
Two-parter.
So why did you think
The
we were gonna,
Langoliers.
Why did you think we were gonna knock it?
I was talking to the audience.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're talking to an audience of people who just hate
Love
all of these things just on
same.
principle because they're
Oh.
reboots.
Okay.
I wish they would reboot the Langoliers, but don't change anything about it. Just make people watch the original.
Yeah, that's not a reboot.
Just play it.
Yeah, just watch
I'm
that.
thinking rerun. Yeah, just put reruns out.
I got it on Netflix.
The horrible cereal noise.
Yeah.
My cereal.
You guys see Carrie? You ever see the original Carrie?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Never
John
seen it.
Travolta one of the dudes that is hanging around the pool when she's like by the pool and her mom gets really mad? I can't play.
He's just one of the high school students.
Okay.
I have a memory of watching it, but I don't think I know it very well.
The Sissy Spacek, she's like for some reason that's not explained in the movie logic, she's like unpopular, even though she's just as attractive as all the other kids.
Probably has a bad attitude.
She's got a bad mom. That's the problem.
She
Her mom
gets
really fucked
yeah,
up.
she has a really like crazy religious mom who just like shames her for doing anything remotely secular and makes her feel like she's like a terrible person. And then the other kids decide to play a prank on her where they trick her into thinking that she's getting voted prom queen, and she gets the award and she goes up, and then when she's accepting the award they drop a bucket of pig's blood on her head.
Oh yeah.
And then she has these latent telekinetic powers, and basically they unleash through her rage, and she just kills everybody in the auditorium of the dance. It's this very interesting story structure where it just kind of all leads up to that final scene.
Mm. Well, Jamie Lee Curtis will be there to say, "Don't let your kids watch
Don't
this."
let your kids watch
Yeah.
it. Good callback.
Yeah.
That movie was crazy though. Watching her like get put in a closet and like having to pray away all that the sin she did that day was
Yeah.
fucking insane for me. I was like, there's no way that's like what real religion is. And then I like went to church with my neighbor's family, and they like went to this in between Catholic and Christian thing. And
Halfway
then
house.
yeah, when we got back to their house, we got in trouble for like watching the TV too loud, and we had to sit in a corner for 45 minutes. And I was like, this is what religion is. It was terrible.
That's what those people is.
Any stranger tried to put me in a corner, I had to go full Swayze on their ass.
I was a fucking sheep. I was like, yeah, I don't want to get
Nobody
hurt.
puts
Dang, you
DeAndre
just
in a
bod
corner.
like an actual sheep.
Yeah, I told you I was a sheep.
Ooh.
Crazy.
It was scary.
All right. You okay?
No, I got flashbacks.
Yeah, it sounds.
There's a lot of corners.
Sounds like you
of
got traumatized. From
Yeah.
it.
It was a weird experience, like being punished by other people's parents.
Yo, honestly, my mom has definitely hit one of my friends.
There was
I think it's
I had a
happened.
guy.
Different
on-
nation?
Yes.
Oh, that's
definitely.
probably why.
Yeah. It was pretty much like a telekinetic thing. Your mother is gonna be okay with this. Come here. Bye-bye.
They know who to do it to though.
Yeah.
My mom got my kindergarten teacher fired because she grabbed my arm, and
Oh,
then I was
nice.
homeschooled after that.
Not Mrs.
Nice.
McKinney.
How do you know all of our teachers' names?
She works at Ralph's now.
There's gonna be a new Jackass movie in 2021.
Mm.
Jackass is back.
Was Steve-O be in it?
Ass. What?
Was Steve-O be in it? Because I know he's like a changed man now.
He's sober, yeah.
Yeah.
He'll still be in it.
Still gonna do
He's
that
not
dumb
sober
shit.
from doing stupid ass shit.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I thought he was like mature Steve-O.
No, he
now.
still does
Like
like stunts
Steven-O.
and shit.
Oh, really?
You can be mature and do Jackass.
I know.
On Wednesday, Paramount announced that a fourth movie based off of the MTV stunt series of the same name will return to theaters. The new film is set to hit the big screen on March 5th, 2021. Created by Johnny Knoxville, Spike Jonze, and Jeff Tremaine, the reality series originally aired on MTV in 2000, and the cast put out the first Jackass feature film in 2002. Jackass number 2 came out in 2006, and Jackass 3D in 2010. So it'll be a full 10 years since the last Jackass film was
Hey, question
released.
for you: is that Spike Jonze? Spike Jonze?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I said that on purpose because I knew you were gonna have that reaction.
That's so weird.
Originally, Spike Jonze was a documentary filmmaker, and he was big in making skateboarding movies. and he made some of the best skateboarding movies back in the 90s.
Really?
Through skateboarding, he met all those guys, and they all created Jackass together.
That is so weird.
Did he do Lords of Dogtown?
No.
Okay. It's the only one I know that's a 90s skateboard movie.
No, not a fictional movie. He like actual skateboarding videos.
Oh, okay.
That's cool. That's cool. Everybody got to start somewhere.
And Spike Jonze made some of the coolest ones. And he did this one skateboarding movie where he digitally erased the skateboards, so it just looked like everyone was floating.
Cool.
Yeah, they're gonna be doing another Jackass movie.
Can't wait to not watch that one.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
You guys didn't watch them?
people
Hell
doing
no.
dumb stuff sells, and I think they know, and also horror sells. So, what does that say about humanity?
What does it say about humanity?
I'm asking you guys. What do you
mean,
think?
You know.
I'm the moderator.
That's not fair. That's not fair
Says
to
that a lot of different
push
people
a
have
theoretical discussion on us. And
different ways to show their art.
Just something to sleep on,
I'd
you
watch
know?
it on
Really
TV.
nice.
Well, horror. I'll explain it right now. I talked about this already. I kind of went through the reason why people like horror on another episode of the podcast, and that people are fascinated by death, and people are scared of the randomness of death and how at any moment you can just die and you don't really know what's going to happen to you after you die. And some people cope with that by being like, oh, when I die, there's a magical place that's way better than here, and I'll be able to live forever there. And this is all just a test to go to the real good place.
That's a good show.
Honestly, though, when I die, Louis, bury me inside the Louis store.
Who said that?
2 Chainz.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
And then I think some people, they want to try to control it and feel like they're in control of their mortality. So they watch horror movies because, or they're interested in true crime because I think it helps them cope with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the answer for both is like the thrill,
Yeah.
like
And
living on the edge.
watching people do stupid shit is
Cathartic.
Schadenfreude. People like to watch unfortunate things happen to other people and feel superior.
Wait, so why do you think Steve-O does it?
It pays.
Yeah.
I think he's just a thrill seeker. He likes doing.
No, I'm
things.
talking about why people watch it, not why
Probably
they
the
do
same.
it.
He asked a new question, though.
Why do
yeah.
they do it?
Yeah.
A
'Cause-
combination of attention seeking and liking to do crazy shit.
Yeah, they were probably already doing it. And then they were like, oh, we can make money doing what we're already doing.
Well, there was a show. There was like predecessors to Jackass. They were called
Yeah.
something Brothers or something. I'll look it up.
Something Brothers.
They
Good
did
show.
what Jackass is doing before, and they released it all themselves and like on home video basically. And that's what Jackass came from.
So this past week, there was this viral video that went around. Funny because this is not the first time this has happened. And I've actually seen other videos of this. But this punk band played in a Denny's.
Sick.
And they destroyed the Denny's.
Oh.
And so basically what happened was this kid, he booked the Denny's under the auspices that it was a birthday party. But they had a punk show. And they had all these kids in there, and they played this punk show, and the people went crazy, and they destroyed the Denny's.
I'm sorry. They booked the band. Wait,
So the space.
They booked the space as like saying it was a birthday party, but then
They booked the Denny's.
yeah, but then
I
they
haven't heard of that.
But then they did it's probably something that specific Denny's do. It's probably
okay.
not like some nationally adopted
Okay.
thing. The Denny's stuck this kid who he's like 16, and they stuck him with this like $1,800 bill, which is kind of funny.
bad.
It's like,
That's
oh,
not
you
bad to fuck up a
destroy a
Denny's.
Denny's, and all it costs is $1,800. Like, but you know, for a 16-year-old kid, especially
Yeah.
a 16-year-old kid who's like probably in trouble with his parents, of like, you fucking cost us $1,800. So they started a GoFundMe account to try to pay this off. And somehow, well, I mean, not somehow, the thing went viral, but Green Day saw this and they paid it all.
Oh.
They paid $2,000 to this kid to pay off this debt of this Denny's.
Where do you think
He
Green
should've
Day got
put it-
that much money?
What?
You a hater, man.
Where do you think Green Day got this? They had one of the most successful albums.
I'm kidding.
He
I don't
should've
even
put it,
like
man.
I don't even like Green Day,
I used
but
to be obsessed with Green Day.
Really?
That-
Obsessed.
Oh gosh.
Especially with Billy Joe. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Is he hot or
What?
is he hot?
No.
No.
To a particular type of teenage girl.
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, okay.
They should have put it on streaming platforms. They would have made that money back
Let me look up Billy.
because it went viral. It's free promotion.
It's only $1,800. He should have to pay that back. Like, why'd they pay it? That's not very punk of them to pay off that bill. Like, you know, it's punk taking care of your own responsibilities. That's punk.
That's not
Man,
what punk is,
that's what
Tyler.
punk is, man.
No, it's not.
Listen, that's what punk
That's-
is.
That's real man stuff.
That's
Or real person, real man.
nah,
woman.
accepting
is just like
responsibility for
punk
your
is
shitty actions.
destroying
is
the
super
establishment and not giving a fuck.
punk. That's Denny's is not the establishment. Those people are not the
It is a
establishment.
fine
It's
establishment.
it is not a.
That's
You will
nice.
not say that it is
the
a
2468
fine
is
establishment.
something
Denny's?
fierce.
I will say it's an establishment. Sure, I will say that.
It's a
you
fine
one of them.
establishment.
Yeah,
God
it's a great
damn.
establishment.
They're good
It's
people.
5-star.
5
I don't know
star.
about 5-star though.
I mean, couple stars.
Telling me Mount Vernon Denny's.
It's not Mount Vernon. Well, Mount Vernon sucks. That's a different beast of its own.
Yeah,
I see Billy Joe right here. I see what you like.
Yeah, I think I
What are
was
we talking
12
about?
at the
Yeah.
peak of
Yeah.
that.
I see that. That's what's up.
Yeah.
He helped me along the.
But they- yeah,
boulevard of
they-
dreams.
I hate you.
Thanks.
But yeah, they paid it off, and they said, and they also added, they congratulated this kid on being such a up and coming, enterprising show promoter, and they said that he should book them on a show the next
my
time they play it.
gosh.
The next time he books a show at Denny's.
Fucking show promoters are the worst
yeah.
people in
Yeah.
the world.
Man, put it on streaming.
Where was
Yeah,
this
if this
Denny's
This all
located?
sounds
Get
like
that
If this
stream
happened to
level.
somebody
Santa Ana,
signed a G
California.
Unit,
Yeah,
That
Oh yeah. No
50
rappers.
something.
The band was
Like
called
yourself.
Wacko.
Yeah, that's what they
Are
are.
they good?
Wacko.
So you didn't even go to
Are they good?
They got a
call the
standing
police.
ovation.
Oh,
They're
they
a
would've called the police.
punk band
Yeah, call
of
the
17-year-old
police, man.
kids from the suburbs in California.
Let TK do that.
Oh my
That's what
gosh!
happens when
Take
you
it.
drink
They
a
would have
bunch of
shot him in the
eggnog
leg.
before shooting a podcast.
Yeah, he's gone, man.
But this is not the first time that I've seen this though. There's this. That's the be quiet sound. There's a video that's been circulating around for years. That's been this huge viral video, and it's this metal band playing in a Denny's, and it's just like this metal band, and there's this crowd of people standing around them, and then the singer goes, "Get the fuck up, Denny's!" and then they all just start
God.
moshing, and it's so funny.
Shout out to Denny's, man. It's lit.
Yeah,
But-
shout out to Denny's.
yeah, Denny-
IHOP ain't got it like that. They even changed to B, and nobody cared.
Yeah, IHOP's over there
IHOP.
having like
We
the
should have
Perry
done our...
Como cover bands playing there.
Yeah, trash.
Sounds nice.
I hop more like I hope.
Ooh,
I hope you don't go there.
Pause.
Shots fired.
IHOP is too expensive.
It
Shots
is too
fired.
expensive.
For what
they don't
it
got
is.
the 2468 menu.
Waffle
Yeah.
House.
Waffle House?
Yeah, I mean, Waffle House is great, but we don't have them here.
Waffle House more like Awful House.
Ooh.
She's on fire today.
You came with the boss today.
Drop another one.
Do
Uh,
McDonald's.
McDonald's more like Big Don't.
Shit, she's
Damn.
got it, guys.
that one, I don't know about that one.
It always
Can
got
we
rhyme. She said it with a chest, boy. She said it with confidence.
Bob's
Dunkin',
Big
Dunkin'.
Boy?
Oh, Boss Big Boys?
What's that?
I don't know.
Boswick
Oh,
Boys?
you hear that? She said, what is that?
Something
Oh,
big right there. That's a
disrespectful,
ball.
guy.
Bob's big trash.
Is it
Ooh.
Boswick Boys?
Bob's Big Boy.
Oh, Bob's Big Boy. What do they sell? Oh, Bob's Big Boy, more like Bob's Bomb Boy.
That's a
That's
good
a
thing.
compliment.
You just complimented him.
You just
You
complimented
got
him.
lost in your own game and
Nah.
ended up
No,
delivering an
Bob
anti-diss.
Bob bombed.
They bombed.
Damn.
Bob's Big
oh,
Bomb.
bombs.
Yeah.
Bob's Big bombed.
Even Michael Jackson had a bad album. It's all good.
Name it.
Thanks.
The very last
Bad.
one before he died.
Do you know? Name
Russell
a Michael
Brand.
Jackson album.
Yeah.
Nah, why? It's this is it. This is what I was talking about. This is it. Super.
This is it. That's just like a live album.
Yeah, it's garbage.
That doesn't count.
It does. Come on.
Oh, that was the documentary.
Let him rest in peace,
Right.
guys.
Okay, he's
Let him
right.
Let him
escaping
rest.
Neverland.
Speaking of legendary musicians,
That was a different
Is that,
documentary.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Public Enemy is receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grammys.
For being number one.
We got it.
Thanks, son.
For more than 30 years. But there's a caveat. I'm going to hit you with the caveats. For more than 30 years, Public Enemy has been serving hard truth to the people with inspiring, powerful, and evocative music. Chuck D, Flavor Flav, Terminator X, Professor Griff, and DJ Lord are hip hop legends While the group's music has never won a Grammy, at the time of this release, the Recording Academy continues to recognize the impact of Public Enemy in retrospect. So, never gave them a single Grammy.
Did they get nominated?
They probably, I'm assuming.
All right.
But they didn't, but they're giving them a Lifetime Achievement Award. And it just kind of feels like a little bit of a slap in the face. It's like when the Oscars gave the Lifetime Achievement Award to Ennio Morricone, even though he never actually won.
What did he do? What is he? Come on.
You guys, do you not remember the things that we talk about on this podcast?
It's on a podcast. It's recorded. Why do I have to remember it?
Because you lived it and heard it and talked.
I've got only so much space. You know how hard it is?
What's in the space? I want to know.
Hair.
I'll tell you when it's filled.
I don't know. That doesn't touch me any kind of weird way. Like, oh well. Like, as we were talking earlier about how you can have an artist that's on your artist of the decade list, but they don't have an album of the decade. Like, to me, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're consistent artists. Maybe they didn't have the best of every single year, but they impacted, so it's fine. Cool. Congratulations to them, you know.
Last story.
Okay.
P. Diddy, a.k.a. Diddy, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. Sean Diddy Combs,
AKA Brother Love.
Respect.
has to pay and has been paying
Damn.
Sting $2,000 a day.
Hey.
And the payments won't end until 2053
Damn.
for his unauthorized usage of Every Breath You Take sample.
Goddamn.
So
During the golden era of hip-hop, namely 1990 to 1997, sampling previous music was a major source of inspiration for plenty of rap beats. By and large, most producers tapped into Motown's greatest hits for their sampling purposes. Upon Biggie Smalls passing away in March of 1997, Diddy sampled Sting's Every Breath You Take without receiving permission first, and this would end up costing Bad Boy Records big time. This is just a recent thing that's been revealed. It's been happening since then, but it's the first time anyone's talking about it. Diddy must pay Sting $2,000 a day until 2053. Sting was born in 1951, so unless he can live to 102 years old, his estate will take over a collection of payments. In another case more recently, Juice WRLD also had an issue where the late artist sampled Sting's Shape of My Heart for the track Lucid Dreams. In a recent interview with Billboard following Juice WRLD's sudden death, Sting stated he had zero plans of suing Juice WRLD's estate, telling the publication these assumptions are simply untrue. The British Walker went on to state, he kind of gives a tribute to Juice WRLD. Unfortunately for Diddy, this isn't the case. The Harlem-bred mogul will have to continue to pay Sting $730,000 for the next 33 years. Which, to me, I read this and I was like, why doesn't he just pay it off?
Listen, first of all, Sting line. I remember in an interview where he said, I'm going to take that Lucid Dream song and pay my grandkids college with it.
Yeah, Sting,
Did he really say that?
Money.
Yes,
Are
he
you
said
not
because
joking
he's
around
making
at all?
85% off of that
Yeah,
Lucid
they
Dream
own
song.
85.
85.
That's crazy.
So, and also, that's a lot of money for Diddy because that song,
Yeah.
it's not slapping anymore.
No, but I think it's a legacy song though.
What do you,
yeah,
So-
for sure.
It's a lot of money for Diddy. What's Diddy's net worth? How much money is that
That doesn't matter.
over the time he's gonna spend it?
That's a lot of money. That's almost a million.
It's-
That's
That's
$750,000
still a lot of
a
money.
year.
That's still a lot of
That's
money.
a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
No, it's not.
yeah,
Not for somebody who's impossibly
Absolutely
rich.
not to him. It's again, yeah, impossibly rich. Diddy has so many things that he's never going to be able to spend all of his money. His kids
That's
will
not.
never be able to
We're
spend.
not
That's
talking
not-
about Jeff
that's
Bezos. We're talking about Diddy.
He's there. He's got it.
I mean, if I was a multimillionaire, I'd just pay this off.
Yeah,
what were
just
you
That's
going
like
to say?
$40 million.
Yeah, like I don't know, man.
40? No, it's just a lump sum of $730,000.
Every
Oh.
year, every year.
Every year.
yeah,
No,
okay.
You're right. You're right.
Okay.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
You're right.
Not,
40
not a
million.
lot of money. Look up.
So you
Diddy's
got it
net worth.
right. I misunderstood it, and I thought, why doesn't he just pay this off? I thought it was saying
It's every year.
I thought it was saying he owed $730,000 through the entirety.
Nah, $730,000 a year, which
Per
I'm
year.
assuming is we're backdating it sometime. So we're talking about $50 million.
Okay, yeah.
That's
No,
a lot of money.
you're right. I misunderstood this, and
All
I
right.
thought it was strange
What
that
is
he
his
wouldn't just
net
pay
worth?
it off.
It doesn't matter. Your
It
net
doesn't.
worth doesn't necessarily.
It doesn't mean you got it in your
describe
hand
what
or
you-
your bank. It's not liquid.
Yeah, you're. I mean, I'm not on.
You can't just be like,
You're
it's
wrong,
50 million.
Tyler.
He'll make
Nobody in this world, no matter how rich they are, is like, yeah, $50 million here.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nah, that,
Yeah.
that song didn't even
Absolutely,
make $50
Jeff
million.
Bezos is like that.
No, nobody
No.
wants.
Facebook paid.
Nobody
Facebook
wants
paid
to
more,
part with that amount of money.
No.
Nobody wants to, but they easily could. Is what I'm getting at.
No.
But this isn't. It's
All right,
not like
then
it's not like
you're
this
right.
money
It's-
is going towards some charitable thing. He's
All
just
right.
paying Sting,
That's
who's
not
another
gonna make-
impossibly
again,
rich
yeah,
guy.
Not worried about Sting getting his money. I'm just saying it's not that big of a hit.
It's a bit.
I
I remember when
That's
when
50
Diddy said
million.
that he lost like what was it, $15 or $20 million a year. He started
Flying
flying
coach.
commercial. Coach, yeah,
coach.
yeah.
right?
Hell no, that's $50 million. I would.
So Sting decided not to sue Juice World. Who is Juice World?
He lying
A recently
He's a-
deceased rapper.
He's a dead guy.
Or R&B
Okay.
artist.
Wait, to sue him for what?
for Lucid Dreams.
Don't they already own 85%?
Yeah, they do. He's lying.
That's why he's not gonna sue him because he doesn't need to.
Yeah,
Not 'cause he's dead, that's
yeah.
why.
Yeah.
That bad press.
He
Yeah.
doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. So now we're gonna go through, as I said before, it's the time for being nostalgic about the past decade that's about to come to a close. So we're gonna go through and we're gonna give our top 10s. I've got my top 10 favorite movies of the decade.
All right, we're starting with top 10 favorite movies of the decade.
Movies of the day.
Andre
How about
first.
I'm not gonna go first.
Okay. Jules, you want to go first?
I don't really want to go first.
All right.
To be honest, I don't even have a list.
All right, I'll start.
What the
Okay.
fuck?
I'm not a movie connoisseur, so I can't even.
No, just
But
hey,
You haven't watched
You've
10
watched-
movies
no.
in the
you've
last
Let's
watched-
just
I don't
no.
think
Let's
so.
not. Let's just do your lists. Whatever you're gonna say,
Oh.
and let's not do it by that.
I didn't even make one, but I could say movies I like.
Yeah,
though,
just
but
say
You
movies you
didn't
like.
make a list.
Nah, cause I was just like, yo, I can't think of. It was like too
Did you
many
make
ideas.
a music list?
I made a music list, but there was too many ideas for the movies. I was like, I don't
Okay,
know.
just name some movies you like.
Damn, this is tough. Come back to
All
me.
right,
All right,
yeah,
I'll
you'll
come
go.
back to
Come back to
All right, so I'll start with my movies list. My movies list, the way I graded them or made a list is impact. If it opened the door for other people to make
That movie's from like the 90s.
no. If it opened the door to help other filmmakers make similar or innovate whatever kind of movies you made, so or if it's culturally impactful. All right. So number 10, I chose Social Network because we live in social media time, and it was a good movie. Bridesmaids. I personally didn't really enjoy Bridesmaids that much, but I think it opened the door for a lot of female powerhouses to make their way in movies. Number 8, I chose John Wick because I didn't expect for it to be good, and then it was freaking amazing. I chose Get Out as number 7. Get Out is my favorite movie, but the way that they promoted it and got everybody to come around, I think it was a moment in time that will be difficult to recreate. Number 6, Black Panther for the exact same reason as Get Out. Cultural moment in time that we'll never probably see again. Number 5 is Avengers Endgame. Only because when you watch it, it felt like the biggest movie of all time. Number 4 is Boyhood because it took them 12 years to make a single movie. Amazing. Number 3 to me is Birdman. Everything about Birdman was amazing to me, especially his monologue in the bar. I personally like that a whole lot, and just the concept of shooting it all in one shot and it not being boring. Number 2, I chose Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, which I would say is probably the best action movie I've ever seen. And number 1 is End of Watch because I feel like End of Watch totally broke all the rules and recreated rules and made something that I didn't think I could watch or would be so interested in. So End of Watch is my number 1 movie.
My movies in this order. Ender's Game was number 10. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the adaptation. Nothing wrong with that one.
Except for the
JoJo.
fact that Orson Scott Card is a huge homophobe.
Shit.
And there's homophobic and eugenic rhetoric laced throughout Ender's Game.
Yikes.
And I
Survive
knew you
time.
were gonna say this, and I sniped you. I didn't tell you this before the podcast.
Dang,
I
he
wanted
set you
to.
up.
I wanted
Grandma.
to. I threw you under the bus.
Actually,
You
Kelby's
should be proud of that, bro.
Kelby swayed me on the separating people from their art. Apparently, I'm just gonna go.
But the unfortunate part is, DeAndre just said that the art is laced with. all
Yeah.
kinds of
Well,
stuff.
yeah. I'm not smart enough to notice it. Apparently, so
okay.
I enjoyed it.
There are a handful of, for whatever reason, this type of thinking tends to run rampant in science fiction authors. There are a handful of science fiction authors who write great books. I'm not a fan of Orson Scott Card. I've never been, but people like him, Robert Heinlein, they write great books, but it tends to be inspired by some deep xenophobic and fearful of things other than them place.
All right, well, Andrew's game.
Jojo Rabbit, fantastic movie. Loved every moment of it.
Taika Waititi's an actual Nazi.
All right,
No.
let him say it.
Deadpool for number 8, just because it's Ryan Reynolds and it's fantastic, and it was really, really good. 7, Chronicle, despite the found footage bullshit they did. Hated that. Interstellar for number 6, just loved the space porn. Can't find anything wrong with it.
Porn?
Interstellar? You don't think it was just space porn? It was fantastic imagery.
Frozen cloud.
Okay. Number 5, Arrival for so like the time travel aspect of it, how good they were with the writing. It was really, really amazing. Number 4, Get Out. It was unexpected that it was so good, written by a comedy writer. Number 3, Sorry to Bother You, because it was just really surreal. I enjoyed that a lot. I think more movies need to go into that. Number 2, Snowpiercer is just a fantastic movie. I love the commentary on class. And number 1, big upset for everyone, is Tusk. I fucking love Tusk by Kevin Smith. Has Justin Long has Justin Long in it.
Johnny Depp's daughter, right?
Johnny Depp's daughter. I'm pretty sure Johnny Depp's in it.
What about Accepted?
It was 2006, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, but also Justin Long. That's my honorable mention for probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
Ask me about my wiener.
Ask me about my wiener. But Tusk was fantastic, and it made me feel things more than Human Centipede did. That's my list.
Wait, was Human Centipede in the decade?
I don't know.
It was in 2010.
Gotta make some
Gotta make some edits to my list.
I don't know what that's supposed to make
Yeah,
you feel.
that's my list.
I finished
hope
mine,
you guys
guys.
enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
I finished mine.
All right, Lewis.
Go ahead, Lou.
All right, man. It's no particular order, but I say Wolf of Wall Street.
Racist.
What?
I don't know.
Wolf of Wall
You
Street.
just learned that word.
Nah, but yeah, let me see. I just like the movie. It's a dope movie.
It's a good movie.
Social Network.
Toxic.
That movie? Which one?
No.
Wolf of Wall Street?
We were.
I mean, it's a good
it-
toxic
It
movie,
really
though.
jump started Jesse, whatever his name is, career. So it's pretty
Eisenberg.
toxic for me.
You don't like when you don't.
Jesse
I was-
Eisenberg. I think Social Network was actually kind of like towards the end of his.
What else was he in before it?
Uh,
Nah, it wasn't that.
Boom, lawyered. Go ahead.
Because he did that zombie movie after that.
What?
yeah, zombie. Oh, that was. I mean, it was like in that couple
Oh,
of years, and then
Zombieland
it was all
was good.
downhill from there.
I'm sorry.
Don't
Well,
say
damn.
that. He did now you see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic movie.
That's Magic. That's
Now you
different.
see it.
It's Magic Mike.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum.
Magic movie.
Was Magic Mike into? Oh, I've got to change my list, guys.
Oh my gosh.
What would you put Magic Mike?
Probably at number 6 instead of Interstellar. Go ahead.
Instead of NSL? All right, man.
Real porn for state.
War Dogs.
You
Oh,
like-
I liked War Dogs.
I like
Yeah,
War Dogs.
Jonah Hill was good. Are you
Yeah, I
just
like
like? Are you just a Jonah Hill stan?
I like Jonah Hill too.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
But let me see. Black Panther, Toy Story 4, Get Out, Inception, The Interview, Someone Great, Sorry to Bother You. It's on Netflix.
You put Sorry to Bother You at number 1?
I mean, it's no particular
no
order.
particular order.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Those are just movies you saw in the last 10 years. Then.
Movies I liked that I saw. Movies I liked that I saw in
Gotcha.
the last 10
You
years.
came up with that list pretty quick.
Yeah, that's a good list.
I had
though.
to
It's
just,
not bad.
thank you very much. Thank you.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's the greatest hits.
Not bad.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
All right,
Oh.
my top 10 favorite movies of the decade. Number 10 is a movie called Frank. It's directed by Lenny Abrahamson, written by John Ronson and Peter Strohan. Starred Domhnall Gleeson and Maggie Gyllenhaal and Michael Fassbender. And it is a movie about a small indie band led by this enigmatic singer-songwriter named Frank, who wears this paper mache head. And you never see what he looks like until nobody's ever seen what he looks like, and he's kind of like touted as this like creative genius savant. And Domhnall Gleeson is this young indie musician who looks into getting to join this band, and the movie's all about sort of like the idea of what it means to be a genius, and striving for genius and having imposter syndrome, and just dealing with like the genius of creativity and what it means to be a genius. And it's a very great movie. Number 9 is a Korean horror film called I Saw the Devil, directed by Ji-woon Kim, written by Ji-woon Kim and Hoon Jung Park. And it is about a police officer who basically a serial killer gets away with his crimes. And so he spends like the next several years like slowly torturing him psychologically, where he'll catch him and then just do horrible things to him and then let him go. And he's basically, the whole movie's about him just trying to drive this guy insane who got away with all these horrible killings. Number 8 is a movie called Attack the Block. It was written and directed by Joe Cornish. This was the movie that discovered John Boyega. Joe Cornish did this open casting call with a bunch of like young street kids in South London. And he casted all these kids who weren't actors. And John Boyega was one of them. And he's the main character of it. And it's about this gang of South London kids who they rob a woman. And then while they're robbing her, an alien invasion happens. And it's all about this gang of kids and then this woman trying to escape from these aliens and figuring out why they're chasing them. Number, what was that? 10, 9, 8, 7. I had to choose one movie. I had to choose one of them. I went with John Wick Chapter 2. I think Dollars to Donuts, this is the one that I enjoyed the most. They are all 3 of them are great. And it was hard choosing, but I think that Chapter 2 might be my favorite. Number 6, The Nice Guys, written and directed by Shane Black. It's a buddy cop. They're not cops, but it's a detective buddy comedy starring Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. And it's just fucking great. Shane Black is probably my favorite screenwriter. This is just some of his finest work. Number 5 is a movie called Dogtooth that is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos and written by Efthimis Philippou and Yorgos Lanthimos. It's a Greek film, and it is about a family of people who the mother and the father decided that they didn't like the sort of evils of the world, so they decided to basically keep their kids in this compound out in the middle of the desert and raise them just to never go out into the outside world. And so their kids, they have 2 daughters that are kind of like almost in their 20s, and then a son who's in his 20s, and they've been raised their entire lives to think that there's nothing, that the rest of the world is just nothing, and all that exists is inside of this compound that they live in. And they basically, the movie is about indoctrination and how you can get anybody you can normalize anything. It's this sort of commentary on how you can take anything and normalize it to a person and slowly indoctrinate anybody to accept anything. Any word that exists that speaks to like the outside world, they come up with a different meaning for it, and they teach them these vocabulary words. So like something like travel is another name for a salt shaker or whatever. So that if they learn these words by reading books and they're like, what does travel mean? They know like, oh, that means salt shaker or whatever. So any word that means something about leaving or going somewhere, they teach them that it has a different meaning. The movie's about these kids and them sort of dealing with this. And then as the oldest daughter sort of gets older and she starts to want to leave, they have a rule that you can leave once your dog teeth fall out. And your dog teeth are, your canine incisors. And the whole thing is like, those don't fall out. And the daughter, sort of getting more antsy to want to leave kind of comes to a head. It's a great film. My number 4 is Drive, written and directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. It's a great movie. It's a great celebration of Los Angeles. It's one of those movies where the city is the character, is a character. It's also just a great, tense action thriller caper, beautifully shot, beautifully edited, and it's just one of those. It's just a movie's movie. It's something that you just love sitting and letting it wash over you. Number 3, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, written and directed by Edgar Wright. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's just such a great, well-made, well-constructed, stylistic movie. Edgar Wright is just such an amazing director when it comes to editing and stylistic choices when it comes to pacing and the way that he tells a story and how densely packed with detail his movies are. The Blu-ray for this movie has 17 hours of bonus content, and I watched all of it. Number 2 is Blade Runner 2049, directed by Denis Villeneuve and written by Hampton Fancher and Michael Green. Hampton Fancher was one of the original screenwriters of the first Blade Runner, and this movie's just fucking great. It's honestly like it's one of those movies where it came out and it's like, this might be better than the original one, which is, you never say that. You never say that some remake or a sequel or a long delayed reboot or whatever is better than the original one, but this one might have done it. My number 1 movie of the decade, Green Room, written and directed by Jeremy Saulnier. This movie's fucking great. It's visceral. Yeah, it's just I can't even. It's hard to even like talk about why I like it. Starring the late Anton Yelchin and Imogen Poots and Ali Shawkat. That's just a great movie. It's my number 1.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
John Carter.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
John Carter?
Yeah, John Carter was almost on my list.
2 Bryan Cranston movies on your list, baby.
Wait.
John Carter, he was in that, and he was in Drive.
Oh, yeah. I completely forgot he was in Drive.
The Disney movie?
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Yes.
Oh, man, I got to rewatch it.
It was great.
Okay.
It was a huge flop, but it was because it was very poorly marketed.
But that's like, I also liked it, and it's like, I really liked it. So I'm wondering, like, what did I miss? Because it's obviously a really good movie. And
yeah, it's just I fucking loved it. I mean, it's based on the Edgar Rice Burroughs stories. John Carter from Mars. He's also wrote Conan the Barbarian. These are just old stories from like the late 1800s. And then they did all these these serials of them in like the 20s and the 40s and things like that. Directed by Andrew Stanton. I thought it was great. It was just really poorly marketed. People just didn't understand it. Maybe it wasn't the best property to make a movie off of because, like, who the fuck knows what John Carter from Mars is besides, people who are really into it. But the movie is fucking amazing.
They should make a Disney series out of it now because they have the money to make it really good.
They thought about that.
Did they?
That's correct. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Jules.
She kind of fell asleep listening to Andrews, apparently.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I was caring for the baby.
The child.
So these aren't necessarily in a numerical order, but there is a bit of a gradient in terms of my favorites. I liked Rogue One. I liked Bridesmaids, Whiplash, The Nice Guys, The Florida Project, The Vanishing of Sydney Hall, Like Crazy, The Place Beyond the Pines, Wind River. Ah, shit. I forgot The Act of Killing, but that one should be in there. And then some honorable mentions: Little Birds, Mud, Lawless, and Sorry to Bother You.
Mud, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a couple honorable mentions too that I forgot to mention, and they are The Disaster Artist, Ex Machina or Machina, and 21 Jump Street.
I thought about that.
Which one?
The 21 Jump Street.
Oh yeah, it's funny from beginning to end.
It's really funny.
enjoy it.
Really
Cool
funny.
movie.
Yeah.
Project X was really good to watch, just on like a visual.
Yeah, okay.
I enjoyed it.
22 Jump Street was funny
I
too.
hate found footage, but here's all these found footage.
It's the
movies I
only
like.
time it was supposed to be used. Was that movie?
Well, I'm sorry. What did you say?
22 Jump Street was funny too.
Yeah, but 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a good list.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Solid
it's not a
list.
bad list.
All right. The next one.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, you had a couple of things on there that were definitely like almost made my list.
Yeah, well, when you said Drive, I've put Drive and The Place Beyond the Pines kind of in the same. They're sort of similar in a weird way, even though the content isn't similar.
Yeah.
But The Place Beyond the Pines is more in my heart than Drive. Like, I definitely appreciate Drive from an artistic perspective, but The Place Beyond the Pines was emotional for me, so I chose it.
Yeah, Place Beyond the Pines is great, and I just the storytelling structure of like following these people through basically two different generations.
And even when I watch it more than once, I still get that feeling of being in awe or slightly blown away by that, which is normally, I think, when you watch movies again, you're kind of almost in a state of remembering rather than watching. But I feel when I rewatch that movie, I'm still in a state of appreciating it as art as if for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, also The Nice Guys, for some reason, wasn't. I thought that movie was amazing, but it's not as many people know about it, even though it has Russell Crowe and Ryan
I
Gosling.
think that's the only kind of movie Russell Crowe should make from now on. It's the only thing I've liked him in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't do that well financially.
Yeah.
I think it was like he did Iron Man 3, and then kind of on the strength of that, which Iron Man 3 was almost on my list. Yeah, I think it was a major miscalculation of thinking that the star power of a writer director has as much pull as it used to, and they made The Nice Guys, and like nobody gave a fuck.
And Ryan Gosling.
But I don't even remember it being marketed. I just remember kind of stumbling across it and being like,
Yeah.
and being surprised that I'd never heard anybody talk about it.
Yeah,
or
nobody
anything.
nobody
Put like
knew
$30
how
on
to
that movie.
market it, because like other than saying like Ryan Gosling is in this and Russell Crowe's in this and the guy who directed Iron Man 3 made it, like it's just, how do you market it? It's like, oh, it's like a throwback to like buddy cop comedies from the 70s and 80s, and it's kind of got this really labyrinthian, complex detective plot. Like it's hard to market. Back in the day, you could say, oh, this guy is in this movie, and then people would go see it, but it's not a thing anymore.
It might be one of those movies that in 10 years or something, it'll have kind of a reawakening or something. Do you know how movies will sometimes come out and people will say like, that wasn't very good, and then 10 years later or something, it'll come back?
Yeah, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was a huge flop when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Rocky Horror Picture Show was a huge flop when it came out. There's tons of other examples of
Yeah.
that. Really quickly on The Nice Guys. So I saw The Nice Guys 3 times in advanced screenings before it came out in theaters, and then I saw it a 4th time in the final theatrical release, because I just kept getting invites, and I was just like, yeah, I'll fucking go to this, because like I said, I love Shane Black, and also I saw it the first time and loved it. When I saw it the first time, the dream sequence where the fly,
It's a bee.
the bee who's voiced by Hannibal Buress, that sequence was like 10 minutes long, and it was just like they just had this long, meandering, dreamlike discussion, and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just like laughing out loud the whole time. And then the second time I saw it, the whole thing was cut out. Like he like does the whole thing where he's driving and he's like, oh, you can just take your foot off, it drives itself. And he's like, oh, I didn't know they do that. And then he like lets go, and then like you hear Hannibal Buress from the back seat, and he's like, he says something, and he turns around and he goes, huh. And then he wakes up. They cut out the whole thing. And whenever I was filling out my thing, I was like, put the fucking bee thing back.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third time I saw it, it was like split the difference. There was a little bit of it.
Yeah. I saw the split the difference version.
Yeah, well,
I think
that's the one that came out. The one that came out in theaters was like somewhere in the middle. But the very first version of it, that whole thing was this long, drawn out thing that I thought was great. But
Yeah. I think that's pretty niche.
yeah, I understand why they cut it down.
All righty. That's our list. Movies. All right. You ready to go to albums?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything.
You don't?
I mean, I was racing to get this list put together.
Lewis, you want to start albums?
Oh, shit, yeah.
I could rattle a couple things off the top of my head, but
All right.
You got to. If
We'll-
I had
we'll
to,
go to you last.
got to.
Yeah,
gotta
we'll go
make
to you
the
last.
list. I want to hear your album list.
All right.
Let me see.
This is.
Oh, I thought I was about to go.
No, no. I'm just giving the title.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
This is the top 10 or so greatest albums of the 2010s.
the greatest or our favorites.
Or your favorites, your greatest. Whatever.
Okay, yeah. Let's do our favorites. Let me see. All right, there's no particular order. Kind of like the way Kelby went about the movies. I feel like these kind of shaped the genre I listen to most, which is like hip hop, R&B. I'll say My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye, House of Balloons by The Weeknd, Take Care Drake, J. Cole Friday Night Lights, Kendrick Lamar Good Kid, Mad City, Frank Ocean Nostalgia Ultra, Future DS2, Wale More About Nothing, SZA Control. And this one is like not the best musically, but I put it on there because it was my first placement. It's PMU Rock Going Through the Motions, and that's what allowed me to come out here. So
It's a personal one.
When did Channel Orange come out?
Last
20,
year.
2015.
That was like Probably
Oh,
20,
no.
2011 or
Blonde
something like
came
Yeah, I
out
that.
think
last
it's
year,
closer to 2011.
Really? Channel Orange?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me
Oh,
see. I'm gonna look it up.
Novocaine came out in 2011, so I imagine
Oh,
it
yeah.
came out
Yeah.
after
Right then.
Novocaine.
You could go. I'm gonna find it.
You have no honorable mention?
Nah.
All right. Solid list.
Yep.
All right, so
Oh,
mine.
my bad. 2011.
2011?
February 16, 2011.
Okay, that's Channel
Nostalgia.
Orange?
Nostalgia Ultra.
Oh, Nostalgia Ultra.
Did
True
come out in 2011?
Nostalgia Ultra is
Um,
kind of like the precursor to Channel Orange.
Yeah.
It's like a short album.
Yeah, it's just a mixtape.
All right, so my number 10 is A Seat at the Table by Solange. Mostly because who knew Solange could do that? Number 9, 2014, Forest Hills Drive by J. Cole, also known as Double Platinum with no features. This one might surprise you guys, but my number 8 is Beyonce 4. I say like 80% of that album is just fire. Number 7, Rihanna, Anti. Who
Good
knew
album.
Who knew she could do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That was the first Rihanna album I ever liked
for real.
at all.
I like songs on her other albums, but that album is just like back to back. Like
Yeah.
she's doing it with somebody else's vocals, but she's doing it.
Yeah, have you heard all the demos? Where it's just like
Yes.
the people who wrote the songs just doing their version of it.
Yeah, I heard the Party Next Door song.
Yeah.
And he was like, I wish I had this for myself. That allowed Rihanna to focus on makeup
And fashion.
and fashion and just being Rihanna.
Fenty.
Bad Gallery.
Mm-hmm.
Next one is going to be Trilogy by The Weeknd. All three of those. And that is because though I grade all of this on like success, impact,
Numbers.
numbers, all that jazz, I think The Weeknd dropped this and nobody else does music like The Weeknd.
Right.
Nobody else does music
Well,
like
not
The
that I know of. I seen Tyler's face change. I don't know if you.
I don't think anybody else does. You're right.
No, I don't think
you're
so.
right.
He's evil Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Like
He's really good.
He's so different and in his own lane that like
Yeah.
the impact is there. It's just
So
nobody could try. No one even wants to try to be
he's
like
toxic, Mike.
Toxic Mike. I mean, there's an argument there, but I'm
Yeah.
I know, I was thinking about it, but I
Move on real quick.
Number 5, which was a hard placement for me, because I listened to this album a lot, but I didn't want to put it on my list for some reason, and that was Channel Orange by Frank Ocean. Only because I really, 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 really didn't like Blonde. The next one is going to be Magic Jordan with The Space Between. I know a lot of people really dislike this album, but to me, it had the most replay value. Nobody knows who they are. They're signed to OVO, and they made this album that just sounds like them. There's no like, there's no mix of other people in there. It's their album. It has their sound. All the beats sound like them, and I just thought it was amazing. You on that album is particularly my favorite song, and the first two. Number 3 is gonna be Kendrick Lamar's "Damn." I chose "Damn" because I think that is when Kendrick Lamar went international. That's when he transgressed in rap and hip hop. Though he's rapping. On the album, everybody heard "Damn." It had multiple huge songs on it, and at first I didn't like it, but a year later I listened to it while working out one time and was just like, "This is a great album." So that's number 3. Number 2 has got to be Adele, 21. Adele sold a crap ton of albums. She has black girl voice. She's amazing, and Adele is one of those, like, you can't say music is dead or everything is autotune or whatever, because she could sing. And she made amazing music on 21. And number 1 has to be Kanye West, My Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Beautiful dark twisted.
don't
fantasy.
even
There you
know
go.
the
My
name
beautiful,
of
I wrote it wrong. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I personally like, I like Who Will Survive in America, and the song before that, and Can We Get My Chaya, and Monster, all like mind-blowingly good. And if I made that album, I would be Narcissist too. My honorable mentions are, and this one came out in 2009, September 2009, but I actually think that it's so important to the 2010s that if it came out January 2010, I would have put it as my number 1, and that's So Far Gone by Drake. The rapping, singing thing just exploded in the 2010s, and I credit that. Though he's not the first to do it, but he's the one who made it big, and I credit that to Drake.
I mean, that all came from 808s.
Yeah, you're right. But I think So Far Gone is better than 808s Heartbreak. Though 808s is very good. My other one is going to be Rick Ross's God Forgives I Don't. A lot of anthems on that one. Take Care by Drake. Velvet by Jameson, and 444 by Jay-Z.
I was thinking about 4-4.
Yeah.
You guys really like know your shit and got yours out of the way, and now I'm going to tell you exactly my favorite albums, and from the standpoint of I have no idea
Take your time.
what makes music good and what makes music bad.
You're trying to pre-apologize so that I don't like freak out. on you.
Yeah, you're definitely going to freak out.
Did Jeremy Renner drop an album?
Yes, exactly. It's that good shit, and you guys are gonna listen to it after this.
All right.
Speaking of Jeremy Renner, I really don't appreciate Jeremy Renner as an actor, but
he's in your favorite movie.
But that's what I was getting to. But that's how I knew I liked Wind River, because I really liked him in that movie, and I normally do not. And this is connected because he is Tyler's favorite musical artist right now.
That is true. That's 100% true. Absolutely.
This is the type of music.
The main attraction.
That Tyler listens to.
You guys get it?
Kicking up dust.
Daddy's July 4th music. Sleek.
That's a good.
All right, Tyler, name your list.
But seriously, take your time.
The name of my list
desperately
is...
trying to
I'll go before you.
cobble this together.
Yeah.
Jules can go before.
Yeah.
At number 10, sitting pretty is Panic at the Disco, Pray for the Wicked. And it's because I saw it live and it was a fantastic show. It was really good and I enjoy Brendan Urie. Number 9 is Dan and Shay with their self-titled album, Dan and Shay. It's got a lot of good songs on it. I highly recommend if you're looking to get into country, start with Dan and Shay. They're really like as close, and it's not really that possible as to R&B as you can get in the country genre. Kelby's not gonna like this. Number 8 is Childish Gambino with Camp.
Trash! No, I'm kidding.
With what?
Camp.
Camp.
Is that not the album name?
No, yeah, it's just
It has
if you're gonna put a Childish Gambino album in your list, it's not that one. But all right,
Is that the one with 3008 on it? Or?
No, that's
No.
the one right after it. That's the one
that's
he wants.
because of the internet.
That one, I like that one.
I like Because of the Internet, but this one had the first ever actual Childish Gambino song I listened to was oh god damn it.
That's a good song.
I know, it's really good.
Mhm.
It's this you guys talking about 2000.
What's the lyrics?
I'm trying to think of it because now all I have in my head is
Oh, none of these songs on the album are memorable enough to remember.
I know, yeah, but
don't
that
worry
it was
about
the
it.
first one.
Heartbeat?
Heartbeat. That's what it was. Thank you. It was
Okay,
Heartbeat.
that
That was
was
the
cool.
first one I listened to, and I was like, "This is amazing." And then I was like, "This is him." And then I was like, "He's in Community. I love Community." It was really fantastic. Moving on to number 7, I have A Day to Remember What Separates Me from You, and it's just a really good album. It's like the last years of my high school career, and I was just like, it felt good to listen to it.
High school career. That's
Yeah.
That's a good way to put that.
Yeah, well,
So I
so
put
when
in
you
work.
guys were making these lists, were you thinking about how old you were when 2010 began and then to 2019?
I was thinking of it like as soundtracks to that period of my life.
Yeah.
I definitely
Where was
thought like, holy shit! Like I can't I had two different reactions to certain things. Of like, I can't believe this was that long ago. Like I can't. I thought this thing came out so long ago, and I can't believe it was still in this decade. And there was other things where
Yeah.
it was the opposite, where I was like,
That came out when?
yeah,
Shit.
I thought
Yeah.
that just came out.
But it's a good album. I recommend listening to it.
Okay.
Number 6 is an artist named Stanaj, and he had an album called The Preview. It's got some good songs. They're like experimental. They're still pop though. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Number 5, I have Rascal Flatts Rewind. I'm a huge Rascal Flatts song. I only put him at number.
You're a huge Rascal Flatts song.
I'm a huge Rascal.
You are-
Flatts
you-
song. I am personally a Rascal Flatts.
I'll tell you one thing, Tyler.
Yeah.
You are a walking Rascal Flatts
Thank
song.
you very much.
Oh.
That's a compliment to me.
Yeah, you a good looking.
But I like all of their music, and I just
God bless the broken road.
I had to put them on my list.
God bless.
Number 4 was Travis Scott. Birds
Julia
and-
knows of this because of her grandma talking about the songs.
pretty much. You guys are missing out if you don't listen to Rascal Flatts.
Well, also my friend was gonna try out for American Idol singing that song.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
I think it's one of their more overplayed songs. Still a fantastic song. Got no problems with it. Number 4, Travis Scott, Birds in the Trap, Sing McKnight. It got me with the title of the album, and I was like, this sounds good. I like Brian McKnight. And then I listened to it, and I was like, even the song with Justin Bieber was fine. It was really good.
You're not a believer?
I am a believer.
All right. Fine.
Uh,
Started.
Number 3 is Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. And that's just because I heard Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe on that one. I
Classic.
know about it.
That's a classic song.
It's a good song. I put the album because we said artist and album, not artist and song.
Even the Jay-Z remix?
That was cool.
Oh, okay.
Number 2, I have Frank Ocean, Novocaine. And it's also just for the song Novocaine. It's one of my favorite songs.
I think you mean Channel Orange.
Are you sure?
That's Nostalgia Ultra.
Look it up because when I looked up the album, it said
Novocaine was on that.
Novocaine, but maybe it just like gave
Oh, you
me.
might
And
have an album?
Novocaine isn't on Channel Orange.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
I
on
think
Nostalgia
Novocaine
Ultra.
its own
Oh,
its,
okay.
its own
That
album.
one, yeah, Swim Good on there. I like those two.
Oh, okay.
Let us know.
The name of it is called Novocaine, the album?
That's what I thought. I know there's a song named Novocaine, and when I looked up the album, it said Novocaine. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that they were just giving me like the single of
This
the
had a
album.
big impact on you, huh?
It still gives me the feels whenever I listen to it.
Nah. He has Channel Orange, Blonde, and Nostalgia Ultra.
Okay, so it must be whichever one came out in 2011.
I'm pretty sure it's on Novocaine. It was on Nostalgia Ultra.
Okay, perfect. Fantastic. And number 1 all time last 10 years was the entire soundtrack to Hamilton by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Fan-fucking-tastic. You can't find a song on there that's not amazing and fun to listen to.
Sweet.
And it counts.
You cultured a little bit.
You know, I try.
But, all right. Jules.
I didn't do a list or numbers. I just sort of thought of music over the past 9 years. So I'm just gonna kind of talk about them organically.
All right.
So the first thing that popped into my mind was My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, which is interesting because many of us share that on our lists.
Mhm.
That song, da, da, Runaway.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
We
a great
just-
song. It's a great song.
I think that was funny that he was just doing the one key. For some reason, it always made me laugh imagining him just being like, da, da. Is that funny?
Probably did look funny.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Remember
It's
when-
not
Is
funny,
that
but thinking
funny?
about
Remember when
it.
Is that
he
funny?
Can
performed
you
it live?
objectively tell me
Yeah,
that is funny?
Sweet.
Did you watch the video?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, video
Fire.
was kind of cool.
Yeah. Kanye was a whole different beast, man.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a time for him.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Amber Rose.
Channel Orange
Shout out to
was
Amber Rose.
big for me. So when you said Frank Ocean, I thought of that. And Lana Del Rey was big for me. She had a time, a few years. I don't remember which album because Born to Die maybe came out before 2010, but I'm not sure. And then the Paradise version or something came out after that. But then her new stuff I don't really like. So one of the Lana Del Rey albums that came out in the decade. And one of the Bon Iver albums I also listened to a lot. LCD Sound System came out with, I believe it's an EP. It's definitely not a full album, but it's called American Dream. So it has Oh Baby and American Dream on it. And those two songs changed my life. And so that's about 5, right?
Hmm.
I'll name one more. Porches came out with an album that I could listen to all the way through for the rest of my life. And that's pretty good.
Drew.
All right, this is a really cobbled together list. I only made it as far as 2013, going through this list of all albums released every year. So up to 2013, plus a few random things I thought of. Brian Wilson reimagines Gershwin.
Birdman. When he said Brian Williams, I thought Birdman.
No.
Cash Money.
Well, Brian Williams is a news anchor, but I meant Brian Wilson. He's one of the driving creative forces behind the Beach Boys.
Is we finished or is we done?
What are we talking about?
Todd.
Okay, yeah. So the trilogy by The Weeknd. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Plastic Beach by the Gorillaz.
I like the girl list.
Unheavenly Creatures by Coheed and Cambria. Emotion by Carly Rae Jepsen. Frank Ocean's Blonde.
Ooh.
Tells
Ah.
me something
Both y'all
about
don't
you.
like that?
Yeah.
Tell me something. He didn't have no drums on it.
a good
He
album.
has some cool albums.
Oh,
great
Some
album.
cool songs on there.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there are definite camps for Frank Ocean on Blonde versus his other stuff.
Dirty Projector's self-titled album and Beat the Champ by the Mountain Goats.
That makes me think of Sylvanesso. Is that on your list?
No. Why does that make you think of?
I don't know, because it's sort of similar genre. Their self-titled album is. I'll add that to mine.
That's your list?
I mean, not really. That's just what I was able to quickly cobble together while you guys were talking.
Okay.
I almost wish I hadn't done it because I'd rather give a more definitive list than this like
Mhm.
incomplete thing.
You can
It's
always
okay.
come back. But
Yeah.
you got some good stuff on it. You got some good stuff.
Favorite podcast of the last 10 years?
Favorite one's probably
Definitely last podcast on the left.
Joe Budden's podcast.
Nostalgicast.
Hey, yeah.
That laugh's kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh boy. All right, so our we get to go to our next list.
Yeah.
We have another list?
I have
still
no- I
going?
think only you have this.
Yeah.
Okay, I
what's
have
this list?
Yeah.
This is
Go ahead, Kelvin.
This is my list of
Okay.
artists of the decade.
Preach.
Okay.
Oh, artist of the decade.
Artists
Just
of the
all
decade.
around artists.
And
Okay.
I made a 15-person list and a couple of honorable mentions. You have one too?
No, I have one.
All right, so this is mine. Number 15, I made this list based off of success, impact, virality, and streams or sales. All right. So number 15, J. Cole. J. Cole because he's consistently inconsistent. He's great more than he's not great, but when he's great, he just disappears for a while, and I'm not a big fan of that. Number 14, Bruno. Bruno Mars, who became a megastar after a song with B.O.B. And now B.O.B. only exists on Twitter. Number 13, The Weeknd. Even though
B.O.B. exists on the bottom side of the earth.
Yeah.
Number 13, The Weeknd. Even though The Weeknd's style is changing and it changes every project, I still think he's just a different beast. And he's a star. Even though he doesn't have certain aspects of mega stardom, but he's still just, his music is so good that's what he is. Number 12, Nicki Minaj. I only put Nicki Minaj on there because I think she opened the door for all the other female MCs that are out now and about. But am I the biggest Nicki Minaj fan? Not really. Number 11, Ed Sheeran. I don't know what it is about Ed Sheeran, but he's popular.
Next.
Next. I like a couple of his songs. He got some good little wedding songs and whatnot. But
He has the kind of Taylor Swift appeal
yeah.
where he can do the sort of romance storytelling,
Yeah.
except from a male perspective.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Though I think I don't want to say he's more edgy than Taylor Swift, but he seems like more of a normal person than Taylor Swift. I guess I will put it that way.
We don't know him. I don't know.
I don't know. But the perception of his brand, that's what I'll say. Eminem, who I often think is retired, somehow still creeps about. Dropping music, and we care about it. So Eminem, still in the 2010s. I think I saw him at Coachella. Passed by and I was like, I don't know any of these songs, so I'm gonna leave. Number 9, an unconventional superstar, Post Malone. I think everybody was gonna write him off when he came out with White Iverson, and everyone was like, "This is a cool song," but wait a second, he's white with braids and a grill. I don't know about this guy. And then he just kept on dropping more hit songs, and now he's Post Malone. Number 8, Ariana Grande, mostly because how did she go from the girl on Nickelodeon on somebody else's show, which to me is ginormous, and become Ariana Grande? And she made that album, I think it's called 7 Rings, which she made in a short period of time, and it was a great album. Number 7, purely based off of her success, and she got a couple of songs that's cool, Taylor Swift. Moving on. Number 6, Billie Eilish, because she's probably gonna own the next 10 years. Number 5 is gonna be Kendrick Lamar. He kind of has the same drop something, disappear thing that J. Cole has, but he is, to me, another unconventional superstar because he grew his hair out and really is like a guy from the streets, but he's like a streets hippie sort of guy. He's not like too tough. He's not too this. He's not too that. He's cool with representing himself as like a real black man, and he surpassed everybody's expectations. So Kendrick Lamar. Number 4 is going to be Beyonce. Beyonce on probably most people's list is number 1 artist of the decade, but I feel like she hasn't gotten men and women. So that's why she's number 4 for me, because I think her audience is really specific. Number 3 is going to be Kanye, whether it's the music or whatever Kardashian-esque thing he says or does to always top the headlines. He's there. He's in our face, and we can pretty much never forget about it. Number 2 is going to be Adele. Adele is amazing. When Hello came out, it was the only song that played next to Hotline Bling for like 6 months. So Adele. And number 1 is going to be Drake. He's outsold everybody except Adele and Eminem in 2010. But streaming wise, success wise, stardom wise, mega stardom wise, Drake. Men like him, women like him.
What about Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga, give me a second.
Okay.
And honorable mentions is going to be Justin Bieber, Cardi B, Travis Scott, The Migos, DJ Khaled for some reason, Future, Justin Timberlake, Lady Gaga, Skepta and Giggs, and Miley Cyrus.
I like that Skepta shout out.
Yes.
Miley.
Konnichiwa was almost on my list.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. In fact, fuck it. No, I only did 9, so I'm adding Konnichiwa by Skepta.
What about All J? Did you guys listen to All J?
Not a huge fan.
Don't know.
All right.
Okay.
My wife likes
I
it.
made a throw together list real quick of artists that I think were influential in the last 10 years. They're mostly from a couple years ago. Just real quick in no particular order. I do have numbers, but they don't matter. Casey Neistat, Philip DeFranco, both YouTube personalities. I think they're doing big things in their lanes. Frank Ocean, Will Smith. Will Smith has just somehow been able to stay super relevant this entire time, even if it was like a small lull between his time on movies and YouTube. Rudy Francisco is a poet on the Button Society New York slam poetry scene, and he's really good. Tina Fey, Shia LaBeouf, David Tennant, all fantastic. I think Taika Waititi's an amazing director. I think Jordan Peele, they both came out and were fucking amazing in the last 10 years. Dave Chappelle, hilarious. And Boots Riley.
All right. Those are our lists of the top 10 of everything for the decade. It's a little bit of a unconventional episode, but we just wanted to get something out, and we didn't really have a full classic episode prepared because of the holidays. Thank you for listening. If you like this and you want to hear more, subscribe. If you've already subscribed, you like the show, you have a friend you think might be interested, share the show with them. If you want to find out more about the show or any of the other nostalgic content we post on a daily basis, you can go to our Facebook page. And you can follow our Facebook page, the Nostalgia Facebook page, the official Nostalgia Facebook page. You can follow us on Instagram at Nostalgia. You can join our Facebook group, the Nostalgia Facebook group, if you search that in groups. And if you want to support us in a more monetary way, you can become a supporter. Go to our Facebook page, Nostalgia. Click on the Become a Supporter button at the top. And for $4.99 a month, you can support the show, and you can also get access to a bunch of rare
We're fucking holographic in
bonus
these ones, boys.
content nobody else has access to. New videos, bonus episodes of the podcast, so on and so forth. Thank you for listening.
So long.
Have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year and everything like that.
Merry Christmas.
Also, Home Alone 2 is not better than Home Alone 1.
We'll talk about that next week.